On this episode of The Great Equalizer, we're kicking off a special series of episodes that take a deep dive into your sexual health beyond the baby years.
A key resource for women approaching midlife and beyond, TGE Talks Menopause is looking to empower women with up-to-date and credible knowledge about their bodies.
Destigmatizing false beliefs and debunking sex and menopause myths.
On this inaugural episode of the series, we welcome back the incomparable Aisha O'Reilly to chat about her own sexual healthcare journey and the cultural shift reframing women's health post-baby.
Influencer, podcaster, and award-winning digital content creator Aisha, welcome back to The Great Equalizer and to this first episode of TGE Talks Menopause.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
And this time it's in person.
In person, yay.
Yes. I think it was
My
newly-
favorite kind.
Yeah.
My favorite kind of chat.
I also prefer it.
Yeah.
Just give us, we're going to talk the whole mama show, but we need to see that shirt, lady.
Yes.
Ah.
Look.
Love the merch.
Where do I look? Here?
There. Love the merch.
Thank you. I have to do a little bit of movement so you could see the
sparkle.
the
yes,
shimmer.
the
Exactly.
shimmer. Yes, it's proper rose gold.
I
don't
love
know
it.
What it is.
It's beautiful.
I love it.
Thank you.
We're going to be supporting your merch.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I love to hear it. Thank you.
Aisha, we're here to talk about perimenopause.
Yes.
We're way too young ladies. We're way too young to be chatting about perimenopause and menopause. Come on.
And so-
we're 27.
Yes.
Hey?
23. I wish. Actually, I don't wish. I don't want
I don't
gonna
actually.
say,
to go
I don't
back to my
actually.
20s. Those years were shit.
Listen, I've had a bugbear throughout my career as a journalist, throughout this podcast series, that women's health has a dearth of research. Research is basically dead.
Yeah.
There is nothing. There's not enough. There's no resources into women's health. There's no income coming in. There's no support, financial support to get people to actually do the research. It's just been painstakingly obvious, especially as mothers. But we are no longer new mothers. However, this dearth of research continues, right? That said, I've found that the information around perimenopause and menopause it surprised me. I feel like we're moving in a more positive direction than newly postpartum studies. There seems to be a lot going on, and I don't know whether it's just kind of my echo chamber, Charlene's echo chamber. What are your thoughts? Do you think we're moving in the right direction? Because your content creation has dabbled. You're going there.
Yes.
Which is why you're here joining us.
I'm there, ladies. I'm there. I'm
In it.
I'm in it. Yeah.
How old are you?
As am I, guilty.
You really,
Yeah.
How old are you really, if you don't mind me asking? 'Cause we're not 27, listeners, viewers. I know it's hard to believe.
Despite how we look.
It's hard to believe, I get it. But I'm 38, almost 39. You are?
43.
3. How old are you, Aisha?
I am 39 and 3/4. Okay.
Almost there.
Yes, I'm turning 40 next week, not next month.
Next
Next
week?
week.
Yes.
That's a big birthday.
I
Should have had a cake.
know.
Oh my God.
It's 40, big 40.
Yes.
So yeah. So when I say that I am there, I'm talking about menopause, right? And I know obviously we'll probably talk about the details of it soon, but I'm not there from a natural perspective, for lack of a better word,
Right?
Yeah, but I'm there.
So talk to us about that, because you are quite open on your platform and on your podcast about your last birth. You have 3 kids. Let's
Yes.
go through that again, because who calls
Okay.
you mom, right? You've got
Yes.
3.
I've got 3.
Nice.
Yes. So Kai is my oldest. He's 9. And then I have Kenzo, my middle child. He's 5. And then my only daughter, Amaya, she's 3. Yeah, so those make up my I call them my 3 little bears now. 'Cause it really does feel like that when,
Yes.
how I'm raising them is always 3 little bowls with lots of porridge and
Yes.
yeah,
The 3 little bears, yes.
literally the 3 little bears.
So I am postpartum with Noah, who's also 5.
Yeah.
Kenzo and Noah were born
Yes.
late COVID babies.
Yes.
But you're newly postpartum, I would say. I would argue 3 years is still quite young, and also you're experiencing perimenopause, menopause symptoms. But like you say, it didn't happen just as a natural occurrence. There was trauma.
Yes.
Do you want to gloss over it for us to kind of fill the listeners in? Because I really think you and Charlene have quite similar stories. Yours might be more severe. You'll see. I think that your timelines align. There's some parallels.
Okay.
So, when you say gloss over,
No, don't gloss. I mean, get into it. You know what? Let's not gloss over. Let's do it. Let's take a deep dive. We're all podcasters.
Give us the highlights reel, maybe.
Because I think it's definitely one of those things that when people sort of find out or hear about it, or like you mentioned, come across some content of mine, they're like, wait, hang on a minute, what? I thought you were in your 30s. What's going on? And I really do have to literally write a 2-liner of, this is why, just to explain it, because of course it gets people very confused. So for me, I'm like, I have to kind of gloss over it, because going into the actual sort of details of it, I'm okay with now, but I always see that whoever's hearing it, they're like, horrified.
You're reliving a trauma.
And they're like, oh my goodness, So for me, I'm like, I can do that version, which I'm prepared to do today. That's fine. But there's also like, well, which version do you want to hear?
Yes.
Which one are you comfortable hearing?
Can you handle the truth?
Can you?
Well, let's do this. Let's do this. Some trigger warning for anybody that has had birth trauma. I think it's important. I think it's important to go there and to talk about it if you're comfortable with it, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's exactly why I am so open about it, and why I shared my story online, because as always, and I mean, Sam, you and I have spoken about this offline a couple of times, there's so many experiences that we go through as women, as mothers, that we are too scared to share, we're too ashamed to share, and then the next mom doesn't even know that experience is possible until she's in it. And then she thinks, I am the only woman going through this, because nobody else talks about it. And so that's why, for me, even before my third birth, I've been sharing my honest journey in motherhood. And for me, when this happened to me, I almost knew within a week, one day I have to share this story. This is not a story that I'm going to keep to myself, but I'll only share it when I'm ready, when I'm healed, and when I'm able to sort of relive, like you said, relive the trauma without literally reliving the trauma, if that makes any sense.
Impacting
Without
you physically.
Exactly. The pressure of reliving it. Yes,
exactly. So that's why it actually took me a year, just under a year, for me to it took me a year, I remember now, almost like just after Amaya's first birthday, I prepared myself to say, okay, now I'm going to share this with the world, essentially. And so basically, to go back, what happened was, firstly, I found out that I was expecting Amaya. She was a beautiful surprise baby, but I did conceive her, like, what was it, about a year after my previous child? So I was still in the throes of postpartum when I found out I was pregnant again. So that was, okay, now what?
Yes.
Hello.
And so, but then otherwise the pregnancy was a normal pregnancy for all I knew. My doctor didn't pick anything up. I went to the same doctor, nothing changed. And so, as with all other births that I've gone through, I was scheduled for a Caesar. And about a week before the scheduled date, I went into labor naturally. That happened with all of my kids, by the way.
Okay. So you were kind of, okay, this might happen again, kind of thing. It wasn't that caught you by surprise.
No. Okay. Again, there was like another thing that just was kind of normal. And I put that in air quotes. It was kind of normal.
Normal for you.
Me.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay, this again. So again, it was like an evening, an evening time, and had to call the doctor because obviously he wasn't on call. At the time. He's like, okay, great, I'll meet you at the hospital, yada, yada, yada. Third birth, cool. But in hindsight, I don't know. And, some people, you could take it however you want, but I am a spiritual person. I do believe in a higher power. And, I feel very much connected to that. And there was something in me that asked my mom. My mom doesn't live here. She's in Tanzania, where I'm originally from. And so every time I went into labor with my previous children, I would message her just to let her know, okay, it's time, mama. I'm going, to the hospital. And it's the usual, okay, great, let us know, whatever. I'll let the rest of the family know. This time, when we were on the way, I asked her to pray for me.
Okay.
I specifically did. And again, in the moment, it's like, I just ask for her for her prayer. So I did that. And she simply responded always.
Oh my God.
Obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's your mom.
She's my mom.
No, you see, I'm crying. I told you I was going to cry.
So always. And for me, I'm like, I just needed that reassurance.
Yes.
And so it's like, okay, this is it. Great. Went ahead, signed all the papers that I needed to sign. I was scolded, by the way. I haven't shared this part, by the way, because I went into labor naturally. I had eaten.
Oh.
Right? Because I didn't know. I had eaten.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm there on the hospital bed, and the anesthesiologist guy, that's always a tongue twister for me.
Yes.
He comes with his papers and blah, 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 and asked me, the questions. And when it came to,
when was your last meal?
I wrote down there like an hour ago or 2 hours ago. He's like, are you stupid? Like, what were you thinking? And I'm like, huh? I'm not here on a scheduled, like, I went into spontaneous labor.
Yes.
So how was I supposed to know?
I didn't know this is how it was going to go, or when it was even going to go down.
Do you know what this guy ends up saying to me? Do you know what can happen to you? If I don't know what term he used, but he goes, you can die.
Yeah, they do that.
You can die. And I just looked at him and I'm like, well, I'm here. So now what? Do you want me to go vomit or something? Like,
also,
what
lucky
do you want
I'm
me
at
to
a hospital,
do?
friend.
What am I supposed to do? I asked him, what am I supposed to do?
Also, are you supposed to, for the next 2 weeks, before your scheduled C-section,
Not
for the
eat.
next
Just
2
cross
weeks,
your legs, Aisha.
not eat?
Just in case.
Just in case today's the day. That's wild. Okay?
I remember that. And I was just like, again, looking back on my experience, that was just the first of many instances where I just felt like no one was, and when by no one, I mean medical staff, was not looking at me as she is
a person,
a mother in labor.
Yes. With
very
feelings
vulnerable.
and emotions and
fears,
hormones and fears. Yeah.
So that started it. Anyways, fast forward to finally surgery happens. My own doctor comes and I have a great relationship with him. And he's like, oh, you really need to stop waking me up with these births, because all 3 of my kids, it's like 10 p.m. Doctor.
So it was
time.
late at night. You might have said that already.
Yeah. It was like late, So anyways, again, everything's going, as normal, blah, blah, blah. She comes out. So he performs the Caesar. She comes out, the crying and all of that, which, by the way, even now, I still don't completely remember that moment. But I know it happened, if that makes sense. Because, there's a video.
Yes.
There's a video filming it and everything. Great. So I hold her and everything as usual. I'm like, oh, thank God. Oh, my baby. And they take her away to clean her up. And Kev, my husband, went over to snip the umbilical cord. And as he was coming back, my husband, Kev, he was holding her. And as he was coming back to give her to me to hold again, my doctor, who, by the way, he's so brilliant, but he has such a dry sense of humor. And that's the reason why I've enjoyed going to him, But his face just went cold. And he stopped my husband in his tracks. That's where I remember very clearly. He just motioned to him literally like this, wait. And then my doctor came over to, this side. And that's when I knew, okay, just from his face, something's not right. And he goes, Aisha, you're bleeding. Okay.
Oh my God, I feel cold shivers.
And I said, okay. And he goes, I don't know where the bleeding is coming from. Okay. So, Kevin, just wait. And so he was there on one side, my doctor, and then there was a nurse on the other side, and the anesthesiologist was somewhere in the room. And so I'm lying there. Obviously, I'm open.
Yeah.
You know, they haven't opened me up, but he's like, we need to get in there and find the source of the bleeding. So he's doing that, and I'm like, you know, just lying there like, okay, breathe, Aisha, breathe. And at that point, I know it's serious, but I'm not panicking yet.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of like, okay, he's got this. He's got this.
Yeah.
It's fine. Because he's telling me
Yeah.
there's an issue. I'm trying to fix it. And so in that, obviously, you know, I'm drugged up. I can't feel pain as such, but I can feel pressure. I can feel, you know,
Pulling and tugging and
exactly.
they're working.
Yes.
Yes.
I could feel it. It's not painful. It's uncomfortable, but it's not painful. And they're pulling, they're tugging, they're, you know, and then the movement of it at first was very calm. You know, it felt controlled. So that's when I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're just, you know,
Figuring
trying
out,
to stitch me up. And he comes to me and he tells me, Aisha, your ovaries, I can't, they're just every time he's basically told me my womb, first of all, let me go back. He said, your womb is in shambles. I've never seen anything like this. So I may need to remove a part of it to stop the bleeding. And I'm like, do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Because at that point when he said, I might need to remove, that's when I'm like, oh, okay, this is serious.
Yeah.
This is serious now if he needs to remove part of my womb to stop the bleeding. So I said, do what you need to do.
Well,
And
thank God he did mention that to you. Sorry to interrupt you, because I mean, if he's doing emergency whatever here, I'm sure whatever disclaimer papers you signed entitles him to just do what he needs to do to save your life.
I can't remember it, to be honest, but sure.
But at least he mentioned it to you.
There was some consent.
Yeah, because
Yes.
of consent. Like, 'cause
Yes.
if I remove your womb, then that's
Then that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Yes.
You know? So
But if I
he
don't,
did
you
tell
could
me.
die. Yes.
He did tell me. And so I just told him, do what you need to do. Because at that point, that's when all of the knowledge, all of the stories that we have heard as women since we were little girls, that some women die giving birth, that's what was at the top
In your
of
mind.
my head.
Yes.
For me, I was just like, I need to go home to my babies.
Yes.
That's what I
need to
kept.
survive
I
this.
need to.
Yes.
So you need to do whatever you need to do so that I can go home to my babies.
Yes.
That's all I was like just thinking in my head the whole time. And so the like tugging and the pressure and the movement started getting quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. And
It's
that's
more
when
urgent.
it was more urgent. And I was just like, oh shit.
Yes.
Like
This is
this
huge.
is like proper serious now.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's my doctor, the nurse, and I'm hearing them talking to each other now. And she's like, where is this coming from? He's like, I don't know. I don't know. It just keeps bleeding. I can't stitch it up. So I'm hearing this because obviously I'm still,
You're awake.
I'm
yeah.
awake. And so that coupled with the urgency of the movements, that's when I was just like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
Where's Kev at this point?
I don't know where
Had
he
he been-
is.
he was probably
I think he was
escorted
probably
to-
out with the
escorted
baby, yeah.
at some point, but I personally don't know when it happened.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't get to say anything to him.
Where's Kev? He's somewhere in a room with our
Somewhere.
baby having a
Somewhere.
panic attack because he doesn't know if his wife's
I know
okay.
that he was taken, but I don't know when he was taken.
Yeah.
Right? But, at that point, I was just like, oh my God, this is it. This is it. I am going to die I remember having that conversation with myself. I am going to die on a hospital bed.
Like this.
Like this.
Yes.
This is the moment.
Oh.
But in that moment, I was so calm. I was so calm. And I just handed it over. I just surrendered. And I just said, God, whatever this is, this is what it is.
Yes.
But I do want to go back home to my babies.
Yeah.
And then I heard my doctor saying, Aisha, I have to take everything out. And again, I just told him, do what you need to do.
And then
Just stop the bleeding.
They're
Just
not
take
giving you
everything.
anesthetic to put you asleep.
So now the anesthesiologist, I don't know why I always struggle to say that word. Anyways,
The guy with the drugs.
that guy who shouted at me, by the way, an hour before. He was so soft now.
Oh, all of a sudden, yeah.
Oh yeah, he came to me right, there by my head, and he's just like, okay, so listen, I want you to just count backwards from 10, and then I knew what was happening.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So he's like, it counted out loud for me. I'm like, okay. And he's holding me, and he's trying to just, soothe me a little bit with his
Good
hand.
guy. You've managed to somehow redeem yourself in our books just a little.
And then I was gone. I was under for about 3 hours.
Oh, my Lord.
Obviously, in that time, I didn't know.
No.
But it was just a blackout. It was a complete blackout.
Yeah. And then the next thing you remember is waking up and you're like, oh, my God, I'm
Waking
alive.
up. Am I alive? That was my thing. Am I alive?
Okay.
Because
I must be alive.
I'm waking up and it's the best way I'm able to describe it is when you watch one of these scenes in Grey's Anatomy.
Yes.
And the camera angle is from the person's eyesight.
Yes.
Right? And it kind of fades into black, and then the eyes open and it's a little bit blurry, and they see people walking around in slow motion. That's what I was going through. Like there was this slowness and quietness. But I'm seeing movement, and I'm seeing people, and I'm seeing a nurse, and I'm just like, am I dying? Am I dead, or am I alive? I don't know.
Yes.
But I was very aware, if that makes any sense,
Yes.
of something has happened.
Yes.
You were
But I
just in
don't
this
know
liminal space.
Yeah, where am I in this? Then I remember doing that whole waking up and drifting off and waking up and drifting off, and almost every time I'm opening my eyes, I'm somewhere else. And by somewhere else, I mean I remember being not in the same room that I had Amaya.
Yes.
I was in another room, but it was still very clearly the hospital, right? I don't remember seeing anybody. I just remember seeing my doctor remove his gloves.
Okay.
Right? And putting them somewhere.
Okay.
And then I saw, I'm in a bed, and there's this guy standing, a nurse, at the foot of my bed. And I am in so much pain, the worst pain. And I'm barely able to say, I'm in so much pain. I'm hurting. And this guy at the foot of the bed, I'm looking at him like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
And he said, I'm so-and-so. You're okay. You're okay. I think maybe I woke up in a panic. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, you're okay. I'm here. I'm going to be here, right here, for the rest of the night. Okay? I need to make sure that you're okay. So I was like, okay. And then I just told him, I'm in so much pain. He's like, okay, I'm going to see what I can do, but we've given you
So much already.
everything that we could. And I'm shivering as well, you know, the postpartum,
The
post-surgery,
postpartum shock,
so I'm shivering, so I'm cold, but I'm also I'm in so much pain. And I can't even describe the pain. It's otherworldly almost. And, but I was like, I think I'm alive then. I think that means that I made
pain,
it.
then
Yeah. And also that there was a person
that I
telling
spoke
me,
to, yes.
You're okay.
Yes.
I'm here to monitor you. So then when I finally wake up, for real wake up, it's daytime. Because remember, I gave birth at night.
Yes.
So when I saw the guy at the foot of my bed, the nurse, it was still dark and a little bit of, lighting, but it wasn't this bright space. And so then...
Yeah, so it must have been midnight, early hours of the morning.
Yeah. This was by the time they took me out of surgery, it was probably about 3 o'clock. And so then when I did wake up, it was daytime.
Yes.
And from what I remember, he wasn't there anymore. But I could see that there were other beds around
and now
me.
you're in a normal ward,
and now I'm a bit
assuming.
more okay, what's happening? What has happened? Yeah. So that's That's that part of the story.
Hey, Aisha. Okay.
So everything was taken out.
Everything. My ovaries, my womb. So what they did leave, what my doctor told me afterwards was that he left basically my cervix. And my whole vagina is still there.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But it's just a little bit of my cervix. But everything up is gone.
How did you survive a pregnancy like that without any complications?
Even he doesn't know until this day.
That is a miracle.
He has no idea. Because basically what happened were he told me the next day when he came to check up on me and called me a warrior and a star and everything. He was just like, basically my ovaries had enlarged almost 10 times the size of a normal sized ovary.
Okay.
So ovaries, I'm not a medical professional or anything, right? So I stand to be corrected. But from what he explained to me, ovaries, the average sort of like weight of ovaries is like 4 to 8 grams per ovary, something like that. My one was 92 grams, and then the other one was over 100.
And you're pregnant.
And I'm pregnant.
Already in discomfort daily. So in pregnancy, anything
wouldn't
abnormal
notice-
is normal.
It's pregnancy.
You wouldn't notice
No.
like swelling in your abdomen or anything because there's a baby in there. Yes.
Yeah. So
Weird.
that was what the complication was,
Okay.
basically.
And did they tell you the cause?
Not really, because it was like to this day I still can't remember what the diagnosis was, because obviously they had to diagnose it afterwards, right? But it is a condition that is so rare. He said, Aisha, even I didn't even know this even existed.
Talk about that dearth of research and about the minuscule amount of like maternal health care that goes into our service providers like curriculum as they're studying to be medical practitioners, doctors, clinicians, nurses. And menopause. Even smaller. Like they just, it's not part of the curriculum. And I hope it's discussions like this and what we're seeing online and that pushes the powers that be to really zone in more on increased research, increased education around women's sexual
hormonal
health, hormonal health, women's sexual health.
Productive,
Also because we as women, I mean, we've spoken a lot about periods, or we've spoken some about periods and menstruation education. Similarly, I've had girlfriends that, have had endometriosis or struggling with certain things, and they're just like, I'm just going to have a hysterectomy. And it's like a catch-all solve. And I know the repercussions, but it seems like there's so many women who don't actually know, like, before you do that, please do your research.
Yeah.
Okay, so what has happened? I mean, we're going to fast forward, kind of cut to the chase now. You had a hysterectomy. It was not a choice.
Yeah.
It was a life-saving intervention.
Yes.
You obviously were then newly postpartum, recovered after Amaya, recovered mentally and physically. But what has happened since hormonally to you, because you essentially don't have those reproductive organs?
Okay, so essentially my body is not producing estrogen. I mean, because the ovaries
Are gone.
are gone. So the thing is, how you're saying, Sam, like some women say, okay, well, the resolution to my issues is to remove my womb. And for some women, sure, it can be an option, but removing your ovaries is where it gets like there's an extra layer there. Gotcha. So essentially what people till this day still don't completely understand is that when you remove your womb, your ovaries can still produce your hormones, right? But when you remove the ovaries, that's when obviously there's repercussions for the hysterectomy, but there's added repercussions for the it's called an oophorectomy, I think.
Yes,
oophorectomy.
Yes. Yeah. I had one.
Whoa, okay, let's say that again. Okay?
Yeah.
Hysterectomy can just be removing the womb.
Yes.
Keeping the ovaries.
Yes. Hysterectomy is specifically the removal of the womb, the uterus.
Yes. So if you have uterine cancer or cervical cancer or something like that, there is to save you from the cancer spreading. They
Yes.
can remove
The womb.
the womb,
Or part thereof.
Yes.
part thereof, and the cervix if they have to.
Yeah.
Ovarectomy, more drastic.
Yes. That's when the ovaries are removed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
And that's what happened to me. So I had a hysterectomy and an oophorectomy. I really can't remember if it's oophorectomy or I don't know. But the removal of my ovaries.
Okay.
So when he was telling me when I was on the hospital bed, I have to remove everything. He was talking about my uterus. He was talking about my 2 ovaries gone. Because the 2 ovaries were damaged from whatever condition that I had while I was pregnant, to the, ignorance of all of us, really.
Yeah.
And then the womb itself was also damaged from all of that. Thankfully, I was still able to carry Amaya to term. She was 37 weeks and like 5 days when I had her. Thank God.
Yeah.
And she's perfectly fine.
Oh, she's
But-
beautiful.
Thank you. But the organs that, helped make her, or made her rather, gone. All of that's gone.
So no more estrogen.
No more estrogen. Yeah.
So did your doctor then at that point explain to you, so now we're going on HRT, or what
Not
was...
straight away.
Okay.
Not straight away. So the thing is, for me, because I went through such a traumatic experience, and it was postpartum as well, right? I didn't get on, like, the priority was my pain,
For sure.
right? To manage my pain, make sure that, pain-wise, I'm okay. I can still feed my baby, and I can still do A, B, and C.
Yeah.
And then also there was, I was going to go through the natural sort of hormonal, stabilization, for lack of a better term. I was going to go through that postpartum anyways, right? But he did tell me, when your 6-week postpartum checkup, I'm going to check on you and see how your body is reacting and how it's doing, and then we can start discussing HRT.
Okay.
Because if I stand to be corrected, but I do think newly postpartum in the first 6 weeks, there is a severe estrogen dip,
Exactly.
as it is
Yes.
in anybody that gives birth. Okay, so then you get to your 6-week mark, and is that when you discussed it?
Yeah, we started discussing it then. And basically, I think it was because I was hell-bent on breastfeeding. Despite everything that happened, I was like,
Really breastfed your boys.
yes, breastfed them. And I'm like, I'm breastfeeding Amaya as well. I really had to actually fight for that in the hospital, in ICU. But I was breastfeeding and all of that. So my doctor was like, look, we're not going to put you on HRT straight away. I want to see where your body kind of goes, for lack of a better term, right?
Interesting. Okay.
And then we're going to start seeing what kind of hormonal support you actually need, because it's not a one size fits all.
No, for sure.
of course.
And they'd have to do bloods to check levels,
All
to
of
see
that.
what kind of dosage and
Exactly.
whatever.
And
Yeah.
you're in a hormonal soup.
Postpartum,
stage.
your hormones are.
It's all over the place,
Yeah.
So I basically, I think it was maybe about month 2. So just after my postpartum checkup and yada, 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 I was starting to get the night sweats. And again, I'm like, is it postpartum? Or is it...
Because you're sleep deprived.
But also because I had
And
this with
you've-
the boys as well. I had
for real?
I had postpartum night sweats, and that's a thing. You look very confused.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, did I?
Yeah, I remember having
Yeah.
it. And I would always, I had my babies in summer. So I
Yeah.
would always just think, oh,
It was the heat.
It's the heat.
I had all of mine in winter, all 3 of them.
I can recall that, but I likened it to it comes with breastfeeding, like sweatiness.
You're always sweaty
yes.
and clammy.
Sweatiness
smelly.
for me is linked
So
to
you
breastfeeding.
don't
Yes.
connect the dots
Yeah.
always.
So
So
it's
yeah.
the hormone.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're having night sweats,
Yeah.
and then you're like, could be
Postpartum.
postpartum.
Yeah, there was
Could be.
nothing
Okay.
really that kind of alarmed me. You know what I mean?
Can I just say
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Can we just take a second, people, listeners, women, all over the into the web waves?
Yeah.
Can we just take a minute for the suffering that we have just become accustomed to the point where we're just like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
This is fine.
Yeah,
Totally
yeah.
fine. This
Been there,
is
done
normal.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have been conditioned to suffer as women. Not because we're being martyrs. It's just that this is the level of discomfort that we have come.
You must
we-
just deal.
We've become comfortable with. You're like, this
Yeah.
isn't out of the ordinary.
This is
what
this is
happens.
postpartum. This
Yeah.
is midlife.
This is what
Just
happens.
deal with it.
This is not new. Okay.
But
Rant
also
over.
but also we're told that over and over again. You know, I got over it after the first pregnancy, because the first pregnancy, I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? And every time, because, you know, I have my doctor on my WhatsApp, and, you know, I message him and he's just like, yeah, normal.
Yeah,
I'm like, and
normal.
it's so like flippant, like, yeah, that's normal. I'm like, but it's not normal for me. Like,
is
what is
fucked
this?
up,
Like,
guys.
I don't
What
like
is
this. I don't like this. I don't want to do this anymore.
Make it stop.
So, but by baby number 3, I'm like, oh, okay. You know,
Yeah.
the night sweats, you know, the aches, you know, it sucks. But I was in that moment, you know what it was? I was so grateful I was alive.
I was just going to say, you kind of, in this particular scenario, you must feel like, you know what? I'll take whatever shit's coming my
It
way.
is what it is.
Because I get to be here.
I'm here. And I'm here not just for my previous babies who I was praying for, my boys. I'm here for this new baby of mine,
Yeah.
you know, my daughter. Like, what? You know, I prayed and I begged and I was calm and I was, you know, I was like, okay, I made it. So I'm going to swear, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm alive.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm alive. And yeah, it's painful, but it'll pass.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, it's uncomfortable, but it'll pass. So that's kind of like the mental state that I was in.
I'm just happy
You
to
know?
be here, guys.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
And it's like my poor husband, that's a episode for another day, but he was still like
Reeling from
Yeah,
That
what
is
really.
an episode for another
Yes,
day.
that
absolutely
is an
reeling.
episode. Yeah.
And I'm the one telling him, babe, I'm here.
Yeah, why?
I'm alive.
Look at the bright
Let's keep going.
And he's like,
He's like,
You
oh my
almost
God,
died,
I almost
chick.
lost you.
I-
You know,
yeah.
like. So for me, I was just like, I'm here. My boobs are making milk. Let's
is
do
great.
this.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle. But then eventually the PTSD set in,
uh-huh.
right? And when the PTSD started sort of, you know, revealing itself, for lack of a better word, that's when I was just like, oh shit, I need to go to see a doctor because I'm not okay. I'm not okay.
So now with those hormonal changes
Yes.
comes depressive thoughts and feelings
wasn't
as
even-
it is.
Let me tell you, Charlene, it wasn't even depressive thoughts. It was certainty
Yes.
that I was going to die. I was like, I was lucky on that hospital bed.
I'm not gonna be so
I
lucky
made
again.
it, but something else is going to kill me.
Okay.
Something else, someone else, a car accident,
Impending doom.
whatever. It was
Impending
like,
doom.
yeah, like I cheated death.
Yes.
Like I cheated death. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
About 3 months in. And if it's not me, it's going to be passed on to someone else. Every time my phone would ring and I'd see my mom's number show up, or my sister or whatever, I'm like, oh my God, they're telling
This
me
is
somebody
it.
died.
This is
They're
that
telling
call.
me, you know, Mama died. Baba died. Baba's my dad. You know, like they're telling me this is the call. Death has, you know, found its
Way into
way
this
back
family.
into, because I was supposed to go,
Yeah.
and now
So the
it's-
Grim Reapers,
somebody
someone's
else.
like, is
Hey,
and the Grim Reapers
I need
waiting.
to take someone.
Yes. Yes.
Right. That's how I felt. So when I finally went to go back to my doctor to tell him, at that point, I don't know it's PTSD. You know, I just say, I'm convinced I'm going to die.
And it's probably also the hormones or the lack of hormones.
All of
because
that.
now that it makes you depressed.
Exactly.
And so all of that combined with
With-
PTSD.
And it's postpartum and it's whatever. So
Lack of
that's
sleep.
when he's like, listen, I'm actually surprised you came to me 3 months after the birth, because a lot of women go through it almost straight away. The
Oh, wow.
PTSD part. But I didn't want to now impose all of this stuff and medication and on you if you are not going through it.
So he was
that's
waiting for your
when-
call.
He was waiting for my call.
Okay.
And so when I did call him and he saw me and I told him what was happening, that's when I went on to the pill, the HRT pill. Okay. So I started taking that. So that's estrogen. So I started taking that, you know, every day, you know, to help with my estrogen levels and all of that. And then at the same time, he had to give me another medication to also help me because it was going to affect my breastfeeding. Because remember, HRT, at least the one that he was giving me, it's for women who are like in their 50s, 60s. You're not breastfeeding. You're not supposed to be breastfeeding and going through menopause at the same time. So he needed to give me something else to help me with, I think it's prolactin is the hormone that helps you produce milk. So he needed to help me with that because otherwise it was going to interfere. And he's like, are you sure you still want to breastfeed? I'm like, yeah, I'm breastfeeding. If I can, I'm going to do it. So he carried, he gave me that medication. And so it helped, but obviously it wasn't, it wasn't a cure. I still had to go to therapy,
Of course,
to trauma
yes.
therapy specifically. It was actually my therapist who told me you need to go see your doctor.
Okay.
Because when I told him what I was going through mentally, he's just like, Aisha, this sounds like PTSD, the stuff that war veterans go through.
Yes.
You need to go see your doctor because I can't, as a therapist, prescribe you with any medication, but he needs to. So in that same visit, my doctor prescribed antidepressants as well. And it was just
this is a lot of what we're going to be tackling in this series is this, it all happened for you at once, postpartum and menopause, which is crazy. Like your life was lit on fire. Your hormones were lit on fire in terms of this. But I think we're gonna be doing this deep dive into not only like what are the symptoms and what are the treatments available to us now, what's information, what's some disinformation, what are the myths we need to debunk. We're gonna be covering all of that, but also interesting for me is how mental health. Okay, you were put on an antidepressant, and I'm like famously for antidepressants, but will always look at my physical health first. What's happening here? And that's what's interesting for me when it comes to perimenopausal healthcare is, and we're going to be chatting with doctors and experts around this, is the looking at your hormone levels, your bloods, looking at that baseline first. Obviously, it was extremely different for you personally, but getting that baseline healthcare for women before you jump to, oh, you're depressed or you're rageful or you're crying all the time or you have intrusive thoughts or there's this impending doom thing, antidepressants immediately, or we're going to be putting you on antipsychotic drugs or anti-anxiety meds. I see that a lot. Just like I said, I have a lot of friends who go, oh, I've got, what's it called when you bleed on the inside? Endometriosis or PCOS. I'm just going to do a hysterectomy as a catch-all. It always makes me quick because everybody's an individual. So, I think we're going to be like really deep diving into looking at what's happening to women's health in those years post-baby. Because there's like a 20-year minimum gap before proper. So menopause is, the like clinical definition for menopause is there's been 365 days since you last bled. Boom.
366 days.
366. You're
So
right.
it's a year and 1 day that you have not had any spotting or a period. So if a year has passed and you wake up that next day and still you haven't had your period, you're officially in menopause.
But if you have your period on the 366th day,
then you're not
still perimenopausal.
You're still perimenopausal.
Interesting.
So perimenopause is actually 1 day, in the same way that there's technically only 1 day you can conceive in a month. Technically.
Yeah.
Perimenopause is 1 day, after which you are postmenopausal.
Yes.
Before which you are
Perimenopausal.
which is a really broad scope.
And the
of years.
range of symptoms can vary starting 10 years prior to you actually being in formal menopause.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and I mean those are the clinical kind of parameters, but we're human beings. So what has shocked you about this journey? Because I'm assuming you've done quite a deep dive into your own symptoms, what's happening, what am I feeling, is this postpartum, is this menopause, what's happening to my body? So what has shocked you the most?
I think what's shocked me the most is exactly that, when you're saying that I've done a deep dive. I am still diving.
Yeah.
I think for me, that's the most shocking thing. I'm 3 years postpartum, 3 years post-hysterectomy, and I am still finding out new things about menopause, about surgical menopause specifically, about hysterectomies, oophorectomies, or whatever the term is, and the lack of readily available resources for me to actually do that research frustrates the hell out of me. So that for me is the most shocking thing, that first of all, I don't know what's going on in my body. Secondly, there isn't a credible
Medical
person
practitioner
who
that
can
can tell you
say,
what's going on in your
this
body.
is what's happening. And not just that, also, I'm one of those people, I don't want to find myself in the situation. I want to know what's going to come.
Yep.
Right? So that I can brace myself.
Yes.
For it.
You're speaking Charlene's language.
Yeah, because like this. No offense to anybody who's not like this, but I don't know how you live when you don't know what's coming. It frustrates me.
Be prepared.
If I could just have like a rough, it doesn't have to be exact. I just have to have like a rough idea. If someone had said to me that you're going to around 38, 39, start feeling not yourself, and this is more than likely you entering perimenopause, and these are the things that you could expect. If someone had
100%.
said to me that, then I would have been like, okay, cool. So when I get to that age, I will start looking into, or before I get to that age, I will know who to go to.
Yes.
I can start doing my research to find someone to go to. But it didn't happen that way. And only when I started feeling unwell did I find someone. I was just like asking, I don't know what's wrong. Go to your GP, go to this one, go to that one.
Right.
And then you go down this like rabbit hole, and 2 years later, you're like, okay, so it's confirmed. I'm perimenopausal. And now we start another 2-year journey of unlimited blood tests and tinkering with medicine dosage and this and that. And now my testosterone's too low, and now my estrogen's too high, and now my estrogen's too low. And it's just this crazy ride. But if I could have just had a little bit of a heads up.
Just a heads up.
You think menopause, I think, okay, maybe 45, 48. I should start thinking of these things. But it's not.
It's not. And you only find out when you're there. And
Exactly.
that for me, I'm just like...
Which is also why we're doing this, because we don't want our listeners. I mean, we got some listeners that are as young as like 28, 29, 30.
Yeah, we even like 25-year-olds are tuning in to listen to us.
Pay
That's great.
attention,
Listen to the
guys.
aunties,
great.
guys. Listen to your elders.
No, that's great. Because it shouldn't be something that we only think about, like you're saying, when we're in our mid to late 40s, etc. It should be something that we're talking about just as, well, I mean, we're still not really comfortable 100% with talking about periods still.
No, for sure.
But it should be at that level because it's going to happen.
Let's just start the conversation. Let's start somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
So, I mean, we're all content creators, and we know that relying on reels alone, a snapshot, a highlights reel of somebody's life can be quite dangerous.
Yeah.
A lot is taken out of context. I'm curious where you turn to for information.
Other than your doctor.
That's it. Other than content. Because, I mean, you can't podcast as content. I'm getting a lot of information from Diary of a CEO.
And also, not to discredit Oprah, because she did a menopause series.
Absolutely.
Very well done.
I haven't seen it. Where
there's
can I
a-
watch that, by the way?
Where can
I've
on
only-
Apple, I'm sure.
Yes, I haven't seen it on Apple. I've only watched snippets of it on YouTube. Because
There are so many celebs speaking out. I believe Halle Berry.
Yes, Halle Berry
been
is
speaking
very,
out, very
very-
vocal.
yeah.
Naomi Watts
I was gonna say Naomi
started
Watts.
menopause, or was broaching menopause proper at age 36,
Wow.
very early. And then Brooke Shields speaks about it in her new book. We're going to be linking our listeners up. to
and
all of
also
that.
to the Diary of a CEO
Yes.
roundtable discussion. Phenomenal.
So we do.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that snippets and clips, but maybe the encouragement is to really look at something in its full context.
Yes.
On the Diary of a CEO roundtable was, I have like an affinity for Dr. Vonda Wright. She's an orthopedic surgeon and she is a proponent of lifting weights. We're going to be chatting about that in this series as well, lifting heavier and the benefits of that in perimenopause. You like Dr. Mary Claire Haver.
Yeah, I mean, I like all of them, but
but you like
when
her
I was starting
content.
to go through it and I was like Google searching things, then obviously the algorithm pushes certain things to your feed. And so she popped up a lot. So I started following her, signed up to her newsletter, and then you get, she's quite an intellectual. So she, talks statistics a lot, and she has these little clips of
I love it,
statistics, and she points at them, and you see the graphs and the whatever. So sometimes it can be quite intellectual, her content, but she does not dumb it down, but she
It's accessible information.
Yes, so I can look at it and be like, oh, that's so interesting, because she reads like a medical journal. She consumes them like I consume water, you know. So I like her because she's so fueled by information.
She wrote the introduction to Naomi Watts' book.
Yes.
Dare I say it? I do think that there has been this culture shift. We're seeing it a lot. I do see also, I cannot recall the name, but someone put me onto a male content creator. He's actually a personal trainer who speaks a lot on behalf of his wife.
Yes.
Look, I'm in a bit of discomfort around that because I'm just like, centralize your wife, bruh. And he is, but he's still the spokesperson. He's
But
still
maybe
the
she doesn't
mouthpiece.
want to be in the limelight.
She doesn't, but I want to know. I want to hear from her.
Oh my God.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you...
He's doing a good job.
Let me be the devil's advocate here, okay, just for a second, ladies. Because, okay, cool, he's speaking on her behalf, and yes, we do want to hear from her, but maybe that's not her thing, A, and B, his audience is not us.
Yes.
We're not his audience.
So kudos to him.
He's talking to his
Kudos to
guys,
him.
his
Okay,
bros.
that's good.
We're
I
like,
don't know this guy, so I don't know how he approaches things.
I'm
If
not
that's the
saying that
case.
he specifically directs, like, bros, listen to me, this happened to my wife kind of thing.
Mansplaining menopause.
No,
yeah.
he's obviously thinking, this is my following, and this is what I'm going through with my
True.
wife. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
whoever's following me must have a wife or an aunt or a whoever or a sister or a something in their life. And if they don't know now, they're going to at some point have to interact with that person and have compassion and understanding.
True. I definitely don't think I'm his target audience, but kudos to him. I want to know from his wife.
Yeah.
Just like, it would be like Kev telling, do you know what my wife went through? And I'd be like, put Aisha on, please.
Yeah.
But I can see my
I'm like
husband
that
doing that. He
too.
talks about perimenopause to his mates, who are much younger than me, and their wives are also much younger than me, although they're 38, 37, 38 now, which is when it
they're
started.
getting there.
Yeah. So he happily talks about it. So I think if I look at it from that perspective, I'm like,
Maybe it's not too bad.
I'm outgoing and I will tell my story
Yeah.
because I do. And so
Yeah.
that's why he's comfortable with sharing it because
Yeah.
I've already told my story.
Yeah.
But
I get that.
he advocates for it because he's like, this is what these women are going through, man. It's tough.
And you know how it is, especially, I can't remember where it was. I think it was when I was studying advertising. They were just saying that the way the world is set up, just in terms of influence, right? Since we're little kids, if you make something cool for boys, the girls will naturally, also think it's
And
cool.
look at Minecraft
You know.
and Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you make something that girls will like, the boys will
They will turn away from it. 100%.
So I'm thinking of it in a similar kind of way, that yes, it is better for me as a woman to hear another woman's experience, but
If a guy
If a
speaks, people
guy
pay
speaks-
attention. That can sit as uncomfortable as you like with it, Sam. You can be as uncomfortable as you
100%.
like with it. Be with
Yes.
it. And it may not be right. But
that's how the world works.
the fact is, here's my Dr. Marie-Claire Haver, however you pronounce her name. Hopefully she sees this and she can bloody well correct me on the pronunciation of her name.
Haver. I'm sure it's Haver.
If you can call it what it is, but in one of her videos, she was like, imagine if a man's testicles started shriveling up at a certain age, like in their 30s, and there was the world would be
They're
in
horrified.
uproar.
Like, what's going on?
We need to find
What's
medicine
happening?
because
Medication.
We need
or research into
research for medication
development.
because men's balls are shriveling up and disintegrating.
Yes.
And there's atrophy down there. We need a plan, guys. Men can't walk around without
Well,
balls.
look how fast they came up with a COVID vaccine. Fuck, I wonder if men weren't affected by COVID, if we'd ever had a vaccine quick
Okay, so
enough.
That's interesting.
So this is not a man bashing conversation. So you can be as uncomfortable as you like
Very
with it,
uncomfortable
Sam.
with it.
The reality is, the way of the world
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that when there is something that is pressing
Yes.
or of concern to men who in very many places still hold positions of power, they're the ones that can change it. And so if men are using their platforms to talk about this stuff,
Yeah. Like Stephen Bartlett.
they're making a change.
Yeah.
So
Stephen Bartlett redeemed himself in my books, like with that. But I must admit, the feminist in me was a little bit like, oh, fucking course. Of course you're going to be creating this content. Well done.
No wonder feminists get such a bad rap
We
for
do.
just being angry women.
yeah.
Can I just ask, what was your issue?
That he was a man. I
You
don't
see,
know. It's really, so it's the pendulum swing effect, and I will see my therapist about it later. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm right.
I'm just going to say, you need to
I've
calm
got
the
a bit of a
F-train
cramp
down,
up
honey.
my ass. I was just like, could you just let us ladies talk for a second, bruh? But
Yeah, why do you have to now enter the conversation as well?
do you need to centralize yourself in menopause?
Do you know what?
On top of everything.
Do you know what I did appreciate though about that episode, which was like 3 hours long,
Yeah.
by the way, right? He didn't speak
Make it about him.
mostly.
I mean, he really redeemed himself.
He was
with
very
that
much like he would ask a question and then just let them have.
He
the
didn't make it about himself.
at all.
He was clever. He did it right.
He
Yes.
did
I'll
do
give
it
him
right.
that.
He
I'll
did
give
do
him
it right.
that, and I will
think he
go
did well
see my therapist about the cramp up my arse.
The
about
anti-men campaign that Sam's about to launch here.
I'm not. We are centralizing women. We're centralizing
Okay, so we dare not even bring this up.
perimenopause and menopause. Aisha, last question.
Oh, okay.
I know it's been that quick, that long, but that quick. And I mean, we probably will carry on. How's your sexual health now? What does your day today look like? What are you struggling with? What do you still need to figure out?
Honestly, I don't think I'm currently struggling with a lot, but it took a while for me to get here, if that makes sense. So you touched on it, the atrophy, I think it's called. Ooh.
Vaginal atrophy. Okay, can you take us there? I mean, it's
If you're
really
not uncomfortable talking
Yeah.
about
Not
something
uncomfortable.
personal like that.
what are we talking about?
We're
here?
talking about, okay, let's be real. Pretty much all of us have had some kind of, I don't know, yeast infection or, yeah. And the itchiness and the uncomfortable sort of like feeling with that goes with that, it is times 100. And when I say that, like when I was explaining it to my friends, it was like constant. It wasn't like, oh, just
It
when-
flares up and then
no,
goes away.
it was a constant
That is just your life
thing,
now.
You know, and it didn't matter what I wore. It didn't matter what lotions I would put on. It did not matter, right? Sex was unbelievably painful. And for me, maybe I'm lucky.
Oh,
I
Kev
don't
thought
know.
he was going to get a shout out there. Sex was unbelievable.
No, but I am about to get there. That I've never had issues.
Yes.
You know, so this was completely new to me. I'm like, wait, hang on a minute. Is this what women are talking about when they say sex is painful? Because I've never experienced that. I experienced it a little bit postpartum. You
But
know?
it's like once or
but
twice
then
and then
once or
it
twice,
ends
and then you
out,
get
yeah.
into your rhythm or whatever. But this was like almost all the time, to the point where I'm like, you know what? Let's just not.
Yeah.
I'd rather just
man.
not.
If I never have to
You
again,
know,
that would be great.
But it was because it was painful and it wasn't pleasurable for me. Therefore, it wasn't pleasurable for him.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just sort of like, but you know how it is. Like, sex is a huge part of marriage. Sex
And
is a huge part
relationships,
of
for sure.
relationships.
And connection.
And
To feel
connection,
connected.
you know? And so for me, I was pissed off. I was
Yes.
really...
I'm not ready to not be
I'm
intimate.
37 years old. Like, what the hell is
Yes.
this, you know? And I have
Fuck this shit.
I have a very healthy, great sexual relationship with my husband. So that was the second or third time that I went back to my doctor. I'm just like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
What is this? You know? And he was just like, okay, so you are on what do you call it? Oral estrogen,
Yes.
right? But sometimes that estrogen doesn't go that far down to your nether regions or whatever. So a lot of women do complain about this. Some women are okay with it, but considering, you know what he said to me? I love you, doctor, but you are wrong for this. He said, considering your husband is still so young. And you need to have sex, kind of, you know?
I'm punching you in the face, Doc.
And I
okay,
said-
Sam, you're allowed to be angry at
And I
me.
said, no, don't worry. I put him in his place. I'm
Good
like,
for you.
doctor, I want to have sex.
Yes.
This isn't about him and fixing my vagina, whatever you want to call it, for
So
my
I'm
husband. I want
I'm
to
a
have a
person.
good sexual relationship with my husband. I want to enjoy myself. I want to have pleasure. So that's what I'm doing this for. And he's like, okay, I get it. And that's what I mean by I have that kind of relationship
Good.
with my husband, with my doctor,
Doctor.
right?
Yeah.
So that's when he basically prescribed, he put me on a vaginal cream
Okay.
that's also estrogen heavy. So it when I use it, it's right there. It doesn't have to travel anywhere. You know what I mean? So I use that every single day. And let me tell you, after about a few days, maybe a week at most, it was chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
That was a great one. I love that.
It was a complete, like,
Day and
you know
night
what I
difference,
mean?
yes.
Day and night difference. He also said, look, if you haven't been using lubrication, use it now.
Yeah.
You know, he
Yeah.
was just like, use anything and everything that is going to help you be comfortable and, you know, experience the pleasure and whatever. So that's what I do. I have my oral estrogen, which is a pill I take every day. I have my vaginal cream, which I, you know, take,
Insert,
administer,
yeah.
insert, whatever, every single day. Once a day, it's one dosage. And then when we're having intimate time or whatever, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I'm not sort of like ashamed to reach over for it. It's right there. It's in my bedside table.
Yeah.
It's right there. By the way, can I just add, all this time, I was going with, you know, the books and use a water-based lubricant and stuff like that. And again, I'm not a
Silicone,
doctor.
bruh.
I had no
Silicone.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no
Game changer.
idea. Because also, who's talking to you about this?
Yeah.
It took me to go to a sexual health event, okay, for the sex therapist. Her name is Tracy. She's online.
Yes.
Do you know
We've
her?
had her on the
Tracy
show.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
She's been on
So
the show.
she's the one who introduced me to this lubricant. And now I'm just like, hello, loyal customer.
Absolutely.
It completely changed everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so now it's almost like, well, sex is better.
Yeah.
You know, it's better. And I don't know if it is because I don't get a period anymore or what, you know, because now it's like anytime is,
Yes.
Yeah.
Go time.
anytime's go time.
And you don't feel sluggish and bloated. And there's that time,
You
like
know?
currently in it, where
Yeah.
you feel so cuck about yourself.
Yes.
You're bloated. You're
Yeah.
sore.
Yeah.
You're constipated. You're
Yeah.
like, "Whoa."
Just,
you just ick.
ick.
Yes.
Ick is the word.
Ick.
Ick is the word.
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel ick and him to see me feeling icky, you know?
Because I don't want to be touched when I
Yeah.
feel ick. I want to feel good.
Yeah.
Like I can't enjoy sensation when I got this happening
100%.
in my bits.
100%.
You know?
Yeah. So that changed the game. And again, it wasn't about fixing it so that I could have sex. It was like, I need to fix this so I can sit and go about my daily life, speak to people, pick up my kids without like feeling
Extreme discomfort.
Let's just talk
Pain
about going
was
to the
pain.
toilet to urinate and you can't wipe because the pain
It's
and
so
discomfort is so
painful.
bad.
It's
Or
like it's not itchiness, it's burning.
No,
That's
it's
better
so
to describe it.
I've also looked into this a bit, and I've thankfully not suffered from this yet because it wasn't one of the symptoms that I experienced before I went on to hormone treatment. But The lack of estrogen, and we'll talk to some doctors about this, from what I understand is it removes the moisture. There's lack of moisture in your skin.
Yes.
All round.
Yeah.
And so it causes dry skin.
Which is why,
And
itching.
this is why you get strange sensations on the skin, even your face, because you think, oh, I'm aging, aged skin. You get the skincare cosmetics for dry, mature skin because your skin is drying the fuck out because your estrogen is saying bye, okay?
Yeah.
And your vagina is skin, and it causes the same result down there. I've even heard of some women online who uses their vaginal estrogen cream and put it on their face to feel
I've heard
less
that
dry.
too. Yep.
I'm probably going to try that.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
To feel less dry.
That's a great idea.
Ladies, there's like a plethora of stuff. There's a season
so
2
much.
in this.
There is so
Charlene.
much to talk about.
There's a lot. So, Aisha, we're going to be chatting with many a doctor.
Yes.
Well, 6 to be exact. We partnered with Dr. Alna Rudolph and her team at My Sexual Health because what I found is your doc sounds amazing. So, like, shout out to him.
Yeah.
Not all doctors are like that. So we sought out help from doctors, clinicians, physiotherapists, life coaches, mental health professionals, sexual health professionals who are all accredited in sexual health. They get CPD points. It's a team.
It's a network of doctors.
It's a network of doctors.
Yeah.
That's who we will be chatting with, and we're going to open questions up to our listeners as well. But I'm curious if there's anything top of mind that you're still like, what's up with this?
Oh, I've got so many.
Okay, let's
Oh.
let's nail it down to like 3.
Okay. All right.
Top 3.
Okay, top 3. First of all, mental health. My big question mark here is not just mental health for me currently, but in the future. And this is something that I know, Sam, you're like, oh, okay, this guy again. But, Diary of a CEO did touch on, and even before this, that I heard and I've seen and I've experienced and stuff, that the event of menopause and the decline in estrogen, everyone always talks about, like, yes, it affects, like you're saying now, it affects your, the atrophy and blah, blah, blah. But the severity of your mental health, the effects it has on your actual brain. What, if I had to ask one question about that, is that what can I do now? It's happened. I'm going through surgical menopause. There's no going back, right? But what can I do now as an almost 40-year-old woman to help my brain stay healthy and give it longevity?
And I just want to check, when you're saying that, it's beyond the feeling depressed.
Yeah.
This is as in fit mentally.
I'm talking
as
about
in
dementia.
Your cognitive ability.
Yes. I'm talking about dementia. I'm talking about Alzheimer's. I'm talking about all of those diseases that affect women.
In research has shown is directly related to
the loss of estrogen.
Yes. So I also, that's very interesting, and we can touch on this with one of the doctors when we have them on. But I've also seen research, or read research, and seen people talk online about how early intervention with hormone replacement therapy medication, in some research studies have shown a decrease in that dementia or prevention of getting there. So if you weren't on hormone replacement therapy, they did a sample of women who didn't and women who did, and there's a significant difference in how many women developed dementia and Alzheimer's in older age from the group who were not on hormone replacement therapy. So, and the thing is also, I think that's a big question, but there's not enough information.
There isn't.
For someone to answer us.
Yeah.
Well,
but I'm going to put it out there.
Let's put it out
For sure. We must find
Yeah.
it. Yes.
Similarly, the other one, which I'm terrified of as well. I'm terrified of the brain effect, but I'm also terrified of the bones.
Bone density.
Again, what can I do now
Wait.
to help my this is the thing. I'm like, okay, but what kind of weights? You know what I mean? How often?
How do I do it? How
do I
often?
do it? Because I'm not a what do you call it? A gym
weightlifter,
bunny.
yes.
I'm not. But so for me, when people say, oh, like even my husband's like, you need to strengthen your core. I'm like, how do I do that? What do I do? And how often do I do it? And what is actually going to be effective? Because I don't want to be doing things thinking to myself, this is going to help me when I'm 70 years old.
And then it's pointless.
And it's pointless.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want peer-reviewed. There have been studies that have shown and proven that this is going to help. Dr. Von der Reitz is your gal, number one. We're going to...
Dr. Marie Claire,
Dr.
she
Marie
swears
Claire
by her
Haven.
weighted vest. You see her like a weighted vest, honey.
Really?
I see women walking wearing weighted vests, and I'm like,
Yes.
woo, perimenopause sister.
Really?
Here we go.
And you know, I walk every day.
Walk
Weighted
with a weighted
vest.
vest.
Where do you get them from?
There's
You
an
see?
online shop. I'm going to hook you up. Please. It's about 1,400 Rand for a
Gotta
proper
hook
one.
our audience up with it
Yes.
as well. Send us all links.
Weighted vest.
all
I haven't
the
bought
links.
mine yet, but if you're a walker,
Yes.
weighted vest, honey.
You see, it's
That'll
conversations
strengthen
like
your
these.
core. It helps for balance.
Oh, I love
weighted
it.
vest.
Yeah, my balance is off.
Weighted vest, Pilates for core strength.
Okay, last question. The burning question.
Those. Oh no, you're not talking about me. You're asking me.
No, yeah. What's your last
No,
question?
no, those were my two.
Well,
Those
those
are
are
your
two.
big
Those
two.
are my two.
I love it. We're gonna get them answered. We will.
That
get
will
them
be
answered.
our objective. I want to also just say that we've been talking so much about international experts from the States. I'm so grateful. The conversation's starting there, and there's all these doctors and people and whatever. And so that's great for South Africans too. We do have an international audience that tunes in to listen to us. So what we're bringing them, they've probably already heard because there's 1 million people in the States that's already talking about this. And there's so many podcasts overseas. But for the local South African market and how diverse our country and population is. I mean, we haven't even touched on how this looks different for
Yes.
people of different races.
Yes.
And there's a whole, we briefly talked about it off mic before we started chatting. But I only stumbled upon a conversation recently where they were saying that for women of color, menopause looks different. Some of the symptoms can be more severe. It can be an earlier onset. And then if you think about how many women of color live in underprivileged communities in this country with no access to this information or proper health care even. So if we're sitting here from a privileged perspective and we're like, I don't feel heard. I went to my doctor and they dismissed me. And those are like privileged people's problems, kind of thing. So there's so much to consider here. And I think just from a South African perspective, we want to start this conversation and just to try and get the conversation going. And we haven't even covered half of it, but also to look at people like the My Sexual Health network of healthcare providers, because otherwise, who do you go to other than just your GP? Yeah. And so, the reason we thought about the My Sexual Health group of doctors is just because we found the help we needed there. And I'm so grateful that we can localize it. We can, for our audience, say these are the people that helped us, kind of thing. Yeah.
And also, I just want to just add onto that as well, the cost of the medication.
And the blood tests.
Never mind the consultations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That specialist.
Exactly. Because it's an ecosystem. So it's one thing if the healthcare providers get a bit more clued up and educate us as their patients. It's another if after all of that I go to whatever, medical aid I'm part of and say, hey, I've got these issues. Can I put this on medical aid? And they're like, no.
Yeah, you can out of your medical savings.
Out of medical savings.
And when your medical savings are depleted, it's not a chronic medication.
It's not. And so I am also speaking from privilege, even though I am a Black woman. But I am a middle class woman. I earn my own salary. My husband also earns. We are very comfortable. But even then, the cost of seeing my doctor, who's a specialist, of exactly that, blood work. Okay, fine, blood work is not every day, but the medication is. It's every month. I have to go to Discam and I spend almost 1,000 Rand on my chronic medication. Yeah. But it's not chronic for the medical aid.
In the medical aid schedule
100%.
of chronic medication, yes.
Yes.
And you're praying your kids don't get sick. O'Reilly kids, Stay healthy. Don't get flu.
Girl.
Don't bring home those bugs. Mama needs her meds.
But now imagine that for someone who
No,
doesn't have
it's a fuck
that
up.
money.
No.
What are you supposed to do?
And sit in, even if the medication was available at the local clinic, you sit in queues for hours to just go get this tablet that they said I must take. I don't know what it's for.
Guys, we have run out of time, but we could carry on. I mean, if I had Stephen Bartlett's resources, we could carry on for 3 hours.
We could have a 3-hour special for you.
If I was a man.
Please don't hate. Please don't hate on Stephen Bartlett. Right now, I'm like,
I don't hate on him. I'm with you, girl.
Aisha O'Reilly, it's been such a pleasure having you in studio live with us. Tangible. I get to hug you after this. I love it. Thank you so much for being so generous with your story and so vulnerable. We appreciate you, and you're doing a good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And you guys are also doing amazing work.
Thanks.
So I love it. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Charlene, how about we keep talking?
Yes, as though we haven't talked enough, but we will continue the conversation online, listeners. You know the drill. If you have something to say or something you want to weigh in on, find us on our socials, or you can email us on info@thegreatequalizer.co.za, and we respond.
DM us with a voice note or record one on your phone and pop us another email. You know, you can get hold of us.
We might take a while to respond, but we definitely do respond, okay? Feel free to subscribe. In fact, don't feel free. Go do it right now. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Find us on Apple or Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. Find us there. Subscribe, and then you'll get notified of when the next episode is released.
And while we're talking about subscribing, Aisha O'Reilly, if you're following The Great Equalizer, there's no doubt in my mind you're following Aisha.
Exactly.
Aisha
already.
in Life, YouTube, Instagram, where else?
TikTok.
TikTok.
Oh,
you're
the thickest
we're
of the
so
talks.
bad
We're so bad
with
at TikTok.
I'm everywhere. I'm on Facebook.
Nice.
Well, we're
TikTok.
going to be, if you're living under a rock, don't stress. We're going to be hooking you up. That is really it for this episode of The Great Equalizer. We'll see you next time to chat more, do a deep dive into symptoms and treatment options for perimenopause. Until next time, Charlene,
Keep your mom game strong.